Human beings have exceeded the physical limits of the Earth and the carrying capacity of most of its ecosystems, which has generated environmental, social, and economic impacts. This indicates that the current linear development model is clearly unsustainable, and for this reason, we must move towards changing the actual model, including concepts such as circular economy or zero waste. The increase of activity rates in the construction sector has caused a huge generation of waste, which has resulted in social, technical, and environmental problems due to the large volume of waste generated annually and the type of management carried out. Any waste generated in any process within the life cycle of the building is considered a construction and demolition waste. These include the waste generated in a new construction site, in the rehabilitation and repair operations, or in demolition of buildings, as well as the waste produced in mining, in the exploitation of quarries, and in the materials treatment processes. Depending on the impact generated in the environment, waste can be classified into three main groups: hazardous waste, non-hazardous waste, and inert waste. Hazardous waste are those that may be harmful to health or the environment due to their explosive, oxidizing, flammable, irritating, harmful, toxic, carcinogenic, corrosive, infectious, mutagenic, sensitizing, or ecotoxic characteristics. The most common in construction are adhesives, tar, creosote-treated wood, fiber cement, or friable insulatings, among many others. These types of waste can result in a challenge on an environmental scale due to their toxicity or due to the high economic cost of the recovery process, a fact that makes their management very difficult. Asbestos, for example, represents one of the most relevant hazardous wastes in buildings. Asbestos is a fibrous, non-biodegradable, fire-resistant, and highly thermal insulating mineral that was widely used in the construction sector during the last century, being considered a miraculous and timeless product. However, inhaling asbestos fibers can lead to several serious health problems, such as asbestosis, lung cancer, or mesothelioma, which mainly affects the respiratory system. Spain imported 2.6 million tons of asbestos, mostly used in buildings, being its removal a first-rate health problem, as well as its environmental management, which is currently managed as special waste, waiting for the disposal or recovery treatment that is decided in the future. Non-hazardous waste is waste that can be treated or stored in the same facilities as household waste. Examples are metal, wood debris, paper and cardboard, or plastics. Finally, inert waste is one that doesn't undergo significant physical, chemical, or biological transformations, that it's not soluble or combustible, nor does it react physically or chemically. Furthermore, it's not biodegradable, nor does it negatively affect other materials with which they come into contact, so that they don't contaminate the environment or affect human health. In general, they are assimilable to stone materials, being a large part of the materials that we find in the deconstruction of buildings, such as bricks, tiles, mortars, and concrete. Construction and demolition waste generate an environmental problem when it comes to managing it, since the treatments applied are usually unsatisfactory in most cases. The most outstanding environmental impacts they cause are the contamination of soils and aquifers, the deterioration of the landscape, and their elimination in landfills without taking advantage of the valuable parts. One of the reasons why currently levels of recycling of this waste aren't satisfactory is because most of it is deposited in landfills at very low costs, without any prior treatment and often without complying with the established requirements by the landfill regulations. The basis for adopting good environmental practices in waste management are the following. Reduce, or in other words, avoid excessive consumption of products, especially those that generate waste that is difficult to recycle and can cause a great impact on the environment and people, such as asbestos. It can be achieved with good prior planning when choosing materials. Reuse, that is, make use of a product for the same purpose for which it was originally made. Recycle, which consists of subjecting used materials or waste to a transformation or exploitation process so that they can be used again. This is the case, for example, of the use of materials such as concrete or remnants of tiles used as a base in road pavements or as fill in the construction. And valorized, take advantage of those resources contained in the waste without endangering health or the environment. For a waste to be valued, the products must have a minimum quality. The construction sector offers several opportunities for promoting the circularity of materials used. For example, carrying out construction waste audits before demolition in order to identify which products and materials in a building can be reused and reduced, and the amount of waste generated. Audits are the first step towards recycling a building. In 2018, the European Commission established guidelines for these audits, which provide guidance on good practice for evaluating waste streams. The development of buildings as material banks with tools such as BIM, which offer information on what materials and components are available in the building, from where they have been obtained, and what potential use they may have in the future. This would facilitate reuse or recycling of building components. The strategic purchase of materials, selecting locally supplied products and byproducts that allow long-term use and reuse at the end of the building's useful life. As the Market Cons project, promoted by the Barcelona College of Quantity Surveyors, Technical Architects and Building Engineers, aims to implement a new service on the market to promote and spread the reuse of construction products present in existing buildings among users, in a web and in an application for smartphones. And construction using efficient techniques in the use of resources, either using prefabricated elements that are easy to assemble and remove, or with 3D printing techniques that minimize waste generation. In the case of China, for example, in 2026, the 30% of the new buildings will be prefabricated. Finally, we should highlight the launch of the Levels tool by the European Commission in 2018. This tool, still in the testing phase, allows obtaining environmental indicators for the entire built environment, improving efficiency in the use of resources, and integrating buildings in the circular economy. In short, the current economy model is unsustainable in the medium and long term due to the large amount of materials extracted from nature that accumulates as waste at the end of its useful life. In the case of construction and building, the high demand for materials makes the sector key in adopting measures aimed at improving efficiency in the use of resources. Therefore, the future of the sector goes through the promotion of the circular economy, using environmentally friendly materials and recirculating them as many times as possible, avoiding the use of toxic products that cannot be recovered, and designing the buildings integrating materials and quality products that are easily usable, thus minimizing the generation of waste to zero or as little as possible.